Hey, this is Mike Addis. Thanks for joining me. It's always a pleasure to bring you these videos. So this is part 2 of $1 Million Mortgage, and it's important because I don't always get everything in the first video, and I can't tell you things in the first video. So stay to the end of the video. I'm going to give you a recap. That's why I tell you to stay to the end, because the end is a recap, and I don't always cover everything in the context of the video. So let's go ahead with the video. And this is part 2. If you recall, in part 1, we talked about why you should use a mortgage broker as opposed to a bank and going direct to the bank. That doesn't mean if you have an 800 FICO score, which is an 800 credit, like you've got AAA plus credit. A friend of mine in Texas has that. And she's buying a $250,000 house. And she's been with the same company for 20 years. And she's been making an increasing in income. She's only buying a $250,000 house, which means if she puts 20% down, that's 50 grand. She has way more than 50,000. Should she go to a broker? No, of course not. If you have super high credit and you're buying just a regular house that's under what would be considered a conventional loan, because every part of the country has a different number. So where I live, conventional loans would be anything at $722,000 and below, but in Los Angeles, I think it's like $785,000 and above. That would be non-conventional. They're called jumbo loans. But if you're not doing a jumbo loan, forget about it. You don't need to use a broker. I want to make that clear. There are reasons to use brokers, and the reason why I use a broker is because I own my own business. So let's go through the 4 or 5 reasons why I use a broker in the first place. Number 1. I'm self-employed. What does that have to use with being? What does that do with using a broker? Well, I use the broker because I want the broker to talk to the underwriter. What's an underwriter? An underwriter is that person that sits at a desk and gives the final approval on whether you're going to get the $800,000 or $900,000 or $1 million or $2 or $3 million. That underwriter, and then the underwriter has a supervisor. But if you have a top-notch underwriter, usually the supervisor is just going to rubber stamp it, right? And say you're approved. So once again, why do I use the broker? Because the broker can talk to the underwriter. I can't talk to an underwriter at my bank. I can't go to Wells Fargo, Bank of America, Chase, Citicorp, or any of the other places where I have 10 bank accounts and talk to the underwriter. They don't talk to people, retail customer. I'm a retail customer. I'm buying from the street. Is that the only reason why I use a mortgage broker? Yes. Why the heck do you think I use a mortgage broker and pay him $10,000 to $15,000 to do an $800,000 or $900,000 loan? Do you think I want to pay him a 1.5, which would be like 12 grand? No, I don't want to pay him that much money. I could do it for $3,000 or $4,000. So if the mortgage broker is good, let's go back to the top points, okay? Number 1, you don't need a mortgage broker if you're getting a small loan. Even if you're getting a jumbo loan like over $750,000, if you've got a high credit score and you got millions of dollars and you got a 50% equity and you're going to do a refinance, you probably can just go to your bank. Okay, but that's not common. If you just got an A credit score and you've been in the job for 10 or 15 years and you can go to your bank, you have a great relationship, fine. Okay, I have a great relationship with Wells Fargo, but going to Wells Fargo is like pulling teeth. They don't really want to do, loans, mortgage loans. They're the biggest mortgage lender in the United States. So why do I not go to Wells Fargo? Because I know that my mortgage broker is going to go to different banks and he's getting me a much better rate than Wells Fargo. So if Wells Fargo's at 3.5, I'm at 3.2% on this loan. Actually, they were at 3.65. Why? Because they don't want to lend to people that own their own businesses. They consider that to be too risky, which is crazy because COVID made everybody go broke. The only guys that you can count on are guys like me on the street who have been doing it for 30 years. Let's go through the 4 or 5 reasons because I'm running out of time. It's only a 6-minute video. And I'm going to do a recap. Number 1, you don't need a mortgage broker if you have a high credit score and you're getting just a regular loan. You've been with the company for 20 years. You're as the Jewish boys say, you're a mensch, which means you're a guy that you can count on and you don't need to go to a mortgage broker. Number 1. Number 2, I use a mortgage broker because I know my mortgage broker can talk to the underwriter. And he can structure the loan and I can structure my tax returns and all the things I need to structure so that the underwriter will pre-approve it. So then the underwriter just has to rubber stamp it because my mortgage broker has a good relationship with the underwriter. That's number 2. That's why I use mortgage brokers. Number 3, I use the mortgage broker I have because he has very, very good communication and he's available. I try not to drive him crazy because I tend to drive people crazy. It's in my nature. I want to know what the hell's going on. But he's very good. And he's only like 30-year-old guy, but he's like super intelligent guy. So that's number 3. Okay, good communication and good availability. Number 4, I always tell the mortgage broker, don't come back to me that this deal wasn't done. Don't call me up and say we didn't get it. You get that? My mortgage broker never calls me back and says, Mike, we have a problem. When my mortgage broker calls me back, he says, we got a deal. These are the conditions. The conditions are all the things you got to do. So I get my approval in 48 hours with conditions, which are usually nothing conditions. They're real simple because I'm doing a refi right now. This is Mike Addis. I'm going to do a recap on this one. This is a very important video for you guys out there, especially people that work for themselves, because it's real hard to get loans when you work for yourself. Okay, so let's do a recap on this video. Number 1, you don't need a mortgage broker. I'm saying I use a mortgage broker, but you don't need a mortgage broker if you have an 800 credit score, you're AA+, been with the same company for 20 years, you're buying a $250,000 or $300,000 or $400,000 house. It's a conventional loan. It's not a jumbo loan, which means it's not over $720,000 or $750,000. You don't need a mortgage. You go direct to your bank. And even then, your bank will drive you crazy and make you wait 2 or 3 weeks or more. Okay, number 1. Number 2, I use a mortgage broker because I can go directly, have that mortgage broker go directly to the underwriter. The underwriter is the person that actually signs off on the loan. No underwriter, no deal. So the underwriter has to approve it. I have mortgage brokers that talk directly to the underwriter. Number 2. Number 3, they can get the underwriter to tell them exactly what they want and show them what I've given so far. So if tax returns have to be amended or changed, or agreements have to be changed or amended, or any kind of documentation has to be changed or amended, the mortgage broker can talk to the underwriter and get that done, assuming it's a good mortgage broker. Don't forget to comment. Love comments. Subscription, cool. Comments more important. We'll see you on the next video.